First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
So, Sheriff, we're about, a month away from Cochise County football?
We're less than a month away. Our first game is going to be September 3rd. We're going to be at Tombstone. The Yellow Jackets are taking on Chandler Prep. They're coming down from Chandler. So we're going to kick off our radio show at Tombstone High School, which we think is pretty exciting. I talked to their superintendent over there, and so we're excited to get back on the air, start showcasing some of our student athletes around the county, and so we appreciate Cherry Creek doing that again. It's truly, and the sponsors that make it happen, Grady.
And this year it's going to be on a different radio station. Last year it was on, or 2 years ago it was on Thunder because we didn't do it last year. This year it's on K101, which is 100.9, and that's where Sheriff Mark Daniels will be calling the games.
Yeah, All Hits Radio.
That's right. Yeah,
I had to go back and look and see what all that was, but and I listened to 92.3 Country, of course. But so yeah, we're excited to get back on there. We're gonna have some new voices with me this year, and as we put this all together, we're still in the process. And then our first home game will be September 10th with Buena. We're taking on the Cienega Bobcats. So we're going to do all the Buena home games. So, folks, if you don't want to go to the game for whatever reason, you can hear it here on Cherry Creek at K101 All Hits Radio. So we're excited to be back and do the show football games for you.
Go football. It's about time it's kicking off.
Isn't it, though? It seems like last year just was such a blink now as you look back on it. So, yeah, we're excited to get back out there and, again, showcase our student athletes that work so hard. I mean, academically, so they can play and get out there and work hard during practices. And 4 years of high school goes so fast. We all know that. We've all been down that road. But, yeah, it's going to be a fun year.
And so some of the other community events that are going on, one of the big ones that you've been participating in, Men Who Cook is coming up.
It is. We had our first meeting Tuesday night, Men Who Cook. It's a fundraiser that's in support of the Services Symphony here. And so we're excited. I mean, I went to you got all male chefs, but we're judged by females. So you can see that's tough, but it's about 300 people come out. It's a great event, and we decorate our booth every year. We already got our theme set up, and the meal that we're going to be making, Ray McNeely will be cooking with me this year, and so it's going to be fun. It really is. And like I walked in the room that night, and it's the same people that do it mainly every year, and they started the competitive words, if I can say it and I said, don't be upset because you're going to get second place. Just don't be upset about that. And so we had a good time with the committee putting it all together, so we're looking forward. It's September 18th at the Knights of Columbus. So I know tickets are limited on that. They sell about 300 tickets, a great cause, but if you're looking for that, reach out to the Services Symphony and you can get your tickets. And
so the proceeds go to the Symphony, yes. And you actually use locally sourced products. You have local vegetables. Are you using all of the good stuff that's here locally that you find?
We do. Locally grown at Safeway. So yes. I'm just kidding on that. But no, we do. We cook in commercial kitchens. Ray and I will be cooking at the Boys and Girls Club here in Service because you got to use a commercial kitchen. You can't cook at home. So they use kitchens around the community, and then when we show up around noon, set up our booths that we sell from, and you can decorate them. There's a reward just for decorations, and then the people actually, the female judges come and judge. It's a blind. They don't know who you are. Thank God I'd never win. And then they also do by presentation stuff. So it's just a fun night. It really is, and it brings and we didn't get to do it last year because of COVID, like the many other things that we didn't get to do last year. So it's nice to get back out there and start seeing people again.
And you have something going on next weekend with Real Wishes.
Real Wishes. They're Dancing with the Stars. Will be next weekend at the Windermere at 6 p.m. That's a great event. And if you haven't been, they actually bring professional dancers in from out of county that work with community members here, and then they dance. And Jeff Davenport and we MC that, and it's just a fun night, and the dancing that goes on, and it's nice to see our own out there trying to dance, and then it's a competition, and they have judges, Les over at Ace, and Lindsay Arnold is usually one of our judges, and a few other ones that they come together, and in fact, Ernie Garcia on our cable team is part of that too, is one of the judges, and we MC it as the host, they judge it, and then It's just a fun night. It really is. So that's coming up next Saturday the 14th, 6 p.m. at the Windermere. But if you need to get tickets early on that too.
And then there's a hiring fair coming up on the 27th, and this is a first responders hiring fair.
Right. That's going to be at the mall here in Sierra Vista, and it's going to be for public safety, first responders, medical. You're going to have your EMS, your fire, your police, your sheriff's office. So we're trying to get as many groups as possible out there, because if we have everybody in one place talking about careers, we're going to have our sheriff's assist team there. Knock on wood. This is probably news to them. Sorry, John and Steve.
That'll be the longest line probably too.
It probably will. So we want to make sure that we get the information out there that there's these opportunities available to participate in these organizations.
It is. It's great. And again, I know there's been a lot of talk on public safety over the last year, but I'll tell you something. One thing that hasn't been fractured and is still working here in Cochise County is our law enforcement and our public safety family. It's rural policing. I think it's an awesome way to police. It's in rural America, and we're doing good things here. So come on out if you're interested in it. Just come talk to us and see what if you've even had a thought about it. Come out there and police, fire, EMS, and we're going to be out there that day.
And speaking of the Sheriff's Assist team, they're always looking for good men and women. They have an application process that we talked about a little bit yesterday. So far this year, just doing some numbers, this is how busy these people are. A group of true professionals. So their total hours of service just from January through the end of June was what? 3,686. That's a lot of hours for a volunteer group.
It really, and that's just our Sheriff's Assist team. And the other thing I want to highlight on our volunteers on that side, that's our operational side. They had 296 hours for funeral escorts. People say it all the time, hey, I saw your sheriff's team out there. That's actually our volunteer corps, the Sheriff's Assist team that takes our veterans to final rest. They do that as a service to the community. They do some other ones too for law enforcement, and some ones when the family requested. That's our volunteers. So it's just so honorable to see them do that and give these veterans and other community leaders an opportunity to go to their final rest.
And 194 hours in call-outs, because we use them to do things like when they had the severe storm that took out the power poles on Mosen Road. They were out there all night making sure that the traffic was flowing or not flowing, if you will, and keeping people safe.
Yeah, we calculated here. Every year we calculate. And they got their annual luncheon coming up here at the end of the month. But the work that our volunteers put in is equivalent to 5.5 full-time deputies. If we had to hire for what they do every year, it's 5 additional deputies plus. So kudos to all our volunteers. And that's not including our search and rescue, Carol.
Right. And so search and rescue had a whole bunch of stuff. They're always busy, especially with now the rains and people not being used to having actually that wet stuff flowing through the riverbeds or over the roadways.
That foreign stuff.
That's right. So 42 missions. That was just from the end to the end of June, but I know that July. I know that they've had even more. So these guys are always busy.
And the stats we're sharing with you are only for the first 6 months of the year, from January 1 till June 30th. And the 42 missions equated to 1,649 hours. That's a lot of hours, and those are rescues and recoveries. These are them going out there recovering a loved one that maybe is deceased in the desert or has fallen, or a rescue, as we've talked about on this show here and you've seen in the media. So, and then they've trained additional 2,145 hours to keep their proficiency up. So again, it's very impressive. And so you look at between the search and rescue team and the Sheriff's Assist team, that's not including our reserve deputies or our volunteers too. That's just these two components. You're looking at about 8,000 hours that have been contributed to the Cochise County citizens.
That's pretty impressive. And speaking of stats, let's move into our border stats this time.
Sadly, they're not getting better. I wish I could tell you that nobody saw July being a good month coming. I mean, we know it because we're living it. I mean, my deputies see it, CBP, my fellow sheriffs along the southwest border that were on this thread that we talk about every day, and we knew it wasn't going to be good. In the month of July on the southwest border, there were 220,000 apprehensions. Kudos to our CBP agents out there. Unfortunately, there were 37,000 getaways. That's people that were seen on CBP cameras that got away. in Cochise County, that equates to about 12,000. I'm talking about Cochise County, Tucson sector, 12,000 getaways just in our sector. We lead the nation in getaways, and these people are camouflaged from booties to headgear, and they do whatever it takes, and that's why you're seeing the pursuits and things I've talked about on this show. So over 12,000 getaways, and these are people now are in communities that we have no idea who they are. Sad situation going on our border, and that doesn't exclude the humanitarian issues, the people that are dying along the southwest border that I talked to my fellow sheriffs. The Texas one, they got rear-ended, 10 were killed the other day. And this is all on the backs of the cartels. It truly is who are exploiting this. And so, yeah, I mean, state, local, and federal, and this administration, we need to come together to do a better job on this, I'll tell you right now.
And you're going to be next Friday on Judge Janine's show.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
night.
Talking about the same thing.
On Justice Program with Judge Janine on Fox. I'll be on tomorrow night at 6 p.m. here Arizona time. But, again, it just goes back. We have a mandate, an oath of office to protect Americans and protect their quality of life, freedoms and liberties, all the things that come with that. And we got to do a better job. It's not working.
And some of the other things that are impacting Cochise County, the scams. You know, this week we got all of this gift cards in the mail, these green dot cards, and all these envelopes come, and then there's these cards involved, and there's no explanation. It's just the card, the little receipt. All of the backs are scratched off with the numbers, and reaching back out to these people, thank goodness that they put their return address on the envelope. So, side note, teach your kids how to mail a letter. It's very important. I know it's old school, but seriously, they need to know that kind of stuff. So they put their return address, and we were able to contact these victims. There were $5,400 worth of gift cards in there that people had been scammed out of. And the criminals are so good that they said that they were from the Cochise County Sheriff's Jury Service, and these people actually purchased these gift cards as their form of payment or bond for not showing up for jury service. And to lend credibility to it, they told them that they had to mail the cards after they'd given all the information, so they were basically useless, to the sheriff's office, and gave them our real address. So we weren't even sure what was going on with that until we tracked that back. So a lot of comments are, how can people be so dumb? You know, how can they just fall for that? I tell you, if it's a local number and you call back and it sounds just like the real thing, you can very easily be fooled, because people prey on your insecurities. And even though you know in your mind you weren't supposed to go to jury duty, or you don't have a warrant or whatever, you know, we have elder people, we have people who are maybe kind of afraid because they've been in our system before, which was the case here. You know, they didn't want to go back. Right. So all of those things, and it's kind of scary.
Well, it is scary, and this boils down to trust. People trust people, especially when it's a local number, they call, it seems legit. But I had a gentleman text me this weekend and said, hey, we're selling our motorcycle. They want us to wire the money out of state. I said, go to your bank. Go to your bank and deal with an in-person expert from a financial institution. But when you start wiring money, you got to get a little leery. I mean, but get in-person contact, and whether that's through a law enforcement officer or a deputy. If it doesn't seem right, if it does seem right, give us a call. It takes a few minutes. Let us check into it. We'll give you a call back, or we'll come see you for the in-person contact if it's a little more complicated than that, and let us verify it, because we don't want to see you be a victim of these scammers.
And the green dot cards, I mean, it very plainly says in a big red banner on the back, and maybe people are just not paying attention, but it says this, you know, beware of scams. This cannot be used for all of these things, including bonds or warrants. So you look at that and you're thinking, oh my gosh, they keep you on the phone. I don't understand that, because I would just probably hang up. But it's just, they're really good at what they do and taking your money.
Well, they do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that is scamming people that truly trust others. And I mean, for whatever lens they're looking through, they believe it. And once they get on that hook, there goes the money. When you brought that to me, those green cards the other day, I was like, what is this? And you showed me the wording on the back, you know, can't be used. Again, people they're not thinking like that. And I respect that. But seriously, if it's a scam, law enforcement, government's not going to reach out and say you owe money. They're not going to reach out and say we got a warrant for you. I can't say that enough. And if we do, call. Give me a call. Give the sheriff's office a call. Call our CCOM dispatch center, and let us look into it for you.
And if people want to keep you on the phone, like, that's kind of ridiculous while you're going to the store and hang up. I mean,
Right.
do you really stay on the phone that long that for a normal call? Just hang up. If they call you back, you can address it then, but call us and let us know.
Well, I'm just glad the car warranty people haven't caught on to all this expertise because,
right.
I mean, I hang up on them all the time. Oh, your car warranty has expired. But again, there's no requirement you stay on the phone.
No.
There's no requirement. Let's get back to that face-to-face personal issue where we talk about it and then we go from there.
And so one of the things that we're doing to augment our workforce and make things better in our communities is just adding to our canine unit. So we have a new canine, Deputy Canine Rowdy.
Rowdy. In fact, it's on our Facebook. He's a good-looking canine. And just a lot of people don't realize, we just don't go to the dog pound and pick up a canine. We actually get dogs that are actually disciplined. We pay about $8,000 to $10,000 per dog. The federal government pays about $20,000, so we're getting the local discount there. So it's very expensive, but it's a resource that we depend on. I mean, this deputy, that's his partner. So we want to make sure we get a quality canine, and then we go to training where they align the canine training with the handler. So we went to L.A. to get this one. We went to L.A. To pick up this animal. So, again, we're excited to get a new canine. It was time. We're overdue on that. We held back a little bit there because of COVID. I mean, things just slowed everything down. But, again, so we got Rowdy back on the team, and he's in training. So we're excited about all that.
And they've even been going to a couple different schools because they have summer programs. So they went to one in Wichita City and they went to one in Douglas with the canine team. And we even have our canine from detention. So all of these people together and showing the kids, kind of how cool it is, it integrates back into, so we're slowly moving past where we have been previously, still using caution. So I'm glad to see that we have the new dog and everybody's going to just come together and be able to reach out more.
Well, one thing that's interesting about our new dog, I think it's worth noting today, is the fact that since we have recreational marijuana in Arizona, like many other states have, we don't train the dog on marijuana no more. Because what is legal and what is illegal because of the recreational law. So our other dogs have been marijuana trained, of course. So it's as we shift to the new rules and laws of our state, our dog now is it's trained on methamphetamine, fentanyl, heroin, the drugs that we're really going after.
And some of the changes that are going on, just to jump ship a little bit here, is Highway 80. If you take that road from Sierra Vista to Bisbee, you hit 90 or 90. Yeah, you hit 90. If you take 90 and you hit 80 and you're going towards Bisbee, or you're coming the other way from Douglas and you're bringing back through 80, be careful because they have road construction that's starting right there around Pentec Ranch. They're going to be helping the area so you don't have falling rocks and especially dangerous time if you're going through there and it's inclement weather. But be careful because the traffic is going to be slowed and you have flag people there. You're going to have a pilot car there. You can have wait times up to 15 minutes. So again,
use Highway 92.
Use Highway 92 because your failure to plan does not constitute an emergency for us unless, of course, you do something dumb and you cause an accident or you're speeding through there. Increased enforcement.
Yes,
you see that everywhere when you're going through construction zones in more metropolitan areas that fines are doubled in construction zones. But you want to make sure that you just are very, very careful. This is going to be a long-term project. I don't really think it's going to be done until the end of August. So just be aware that that's happening. And I don't know the hours specifically because it's going to be dependent upon their progress during each day. But please be careful going through that way.
Well, be careful. We've talked to ADOT on this, and they've asked for enforcement through our sheriff's deputies along with the troopers out there. And it's all about safety. That's really is. So bring your patience with that because I know people at these, they get flagged and they get stopped for 15 minutes and they get very impatient. We're all in a hurry. We say it almost every Friday is slow down, leave early, prepare, plan. So, but my best advice to you is use 92. And they're doing this so the rocks don't fall on your windshield and kill you. It's the bottom line. So, and cause a bad accident out there.
Let's talk about hit and runs. Now, everybody knows what that is when you're like in an accident and somebody leaves the scene of the accident. But that can also happen in parking lots.
Well, that's my investigative story of the week, Grady.
Okay.
And so, as I talked about last week, I got back from a 4-day trip last weekend, my wife and I, and so I wasn't real happy with my truck, so I sold that, bought a new one, And so Friday I met the owners at Motor Vehicle. Now this is a 2015 Duramax Chevy crew cab, one owner with 13,000 miles.
Nice.
6 years old, 13,000 miles. I mean, I was all happy. I'm excited. I'm buying into this vehicle. I'm like, yeah, okay. So the owner called me and we talked. I said, okay, I'll meet you at Motor Vehicles. We do the paperwork. He drove it down there. I met him down there. Went inside. Came out an hour later. As I'm walking out, I noticed my sheriff's vehicle that the passenger mirror was knocked in. I thought, wow, somebody moved my mirror. Then I looked over and saw my new truck, which I just got the ownership paperwork. I'm feeling all proud here. And somebody had smashed the side of it in on the driver's side. $4,500 damage to that truck. Thing didn't even have a chip in it. And so you can imagine it's like your energy just flushes. You're like, oh. So there was 3 witnesses to it that saw it. It said an individual, a big guy, bald, pulled in with a truck that reddish or maroon paint with a little bit of a lift, pulled in, hit my patrol car, and then hit my truck, parked into the next stall behind us, and then took off really quick. And so we got some information on it. We're looking for that truck. If you listen to this show, I mean, we're looking for you. I'm telling you right now, we're looking for you. And it truly makes you rethink as a law enforcement officer what it's like to be a victim. What it's like to be a victim of an incident. And I tell you, it's very upsetting. It kind of rocks your world. I mean, there's other things out there worse that's happening, and I get it. But this rocks your world. I mean, it truly interrupts it. Now, I put insurance on that. I added to my policy at noon. At 4, I'm calling to do a claim. And you all can imagine how that's working out for me. And so, again, it's a real challenge on that. But, again, the individual did this. I mean, all it would took was stop, hey, I made a mistake. And we could have worked this out. And but now we're looking for you. So that's my investigative story of the week.
Maroon vehicle. Pay attention.
Maroon, reddish. The paint's not the shiniest. It's not the best. And we got some other indicators. But, yeah. So if you see the sheriff on the road with a red pickup, you know why.
And one final thing that you want to just hit on is trespass laws. It's been a thing. I've gotten a couple calls that we've worked through from our organization, and people are maybe not clear on what the trespass laws are. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, before I do that, Carol, I want to give your division at the Sheriff's Office a shout-out. You know, there was an article in the Service to Herald about public transparency with government, about, you know, how transparent we are. And you always see the social media, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. Last year, I believe it was like 1,800 public records requests just to the Sheriff's Office that your people fulfilled or released.
Right.
This year, the first 6 months of the year, we've had 845, I think it is, public records requests where your staff has fulfilled those requests to the public. I need a report. I need this recording, whatever it is. That's a lot of time. Can you talk about that for just a minute? I think it's important that we don't brush off. We're transparent to the people. We work for the people. We want to make sure that this office works very hard to get that information out.
Absolutely. So, you know, people hear about public records, and we have a public records request process. We either get it from the county attorney, but we're really encouraging people to go to our webpage and use our public records page there to cut out the middleman, so you can request records. And these are, that 840 plus includes, you know, hey, I need a copy of my accident report or my personal record, but it also includes one that we just finished up yesterday that they needed because marijuana has been legalized, and so now they have an institute that's doing research, and they wanted all marijuana arrests from 2000 until now. Well,
of course they did.
Right. But not only that, to fulfill their mission, they needed to have it broken down to where the arrest occurred and the demographic information about the subject who was arrested. So, you know, age and any type of, height, weight, you know, demographics like white, Hispanic, black, Asian, male, female. So by the time we finished all of that, we couldn't go back that far because we've had our current system since August 8th of 2000. As a matter of fact, we just had an anniversary, and I should have just noticed that. But that's when we went live with our current system. So with that being said, I went to print it because we keep copies of what we release, so there's a whole process involved. And I couldn't figure out why my computer was being stupid. And yeah, it was not operator error. I want to tell you that first up. By the time I did it a couple times and I ended up having to dismantle our huge copy machine in our office, it's because I realized it was 4,672 pages worth of documentation,
wow.
which I did not print. I copied digitally, just to save, because that was just way much. And so we ended up making special accommodations to finish this request because I wasn't going to print that many pages twice. So those types of things take a lot of time. It takes a lot of dedicated effort because there's so many things that surround it. But the bottom line is we give out the information that we can. And it's not that we hide things. It's not that we're being disingenuous. It's not that we're, trying to hide behind some, veiled thing on a conspiracy theory that we don't want to release information just because of who you are. That's not it. So that's a lot of paperwork, and that's just one very small component of the jobs that we have to perform each and every day.
And we work very close with County Attorney Brian McIntyre
Yes.
and his staff to make sure what we're putting out doesn't jeopardize a criminal investigation or a
Correct.
victim of a crime, especially our juvenile, our sexual assault victims. So there's a fine line. We just don't, here's the report, good luck with it. No, we don't do that. We have an expectation and a mandate that we're going to protect our victims, and we'll always do that.
And so that's right. And our people are trained to do that kind of thing. The county attorney comes in and gives us briefs, making sure that we understand what we're doing. Our most recent one was on subpoenas and subpoena service. So it's important that people understand that it's not, again, a huge shroud of secrecy surrounding us. We do what we can, and it takes some time. But if you need anything and we have it, we will do everything that we can to get it to you.
Right, and that's just part of our transparency. Arizona is one of the most transparent public records state in the country, and that's the law. We're gonna abide by the law. So I always, when I hear them, we're not giving you that record. Wow, how do you not? I mean, and whether all government's subject to the same public records law, whether it be a school, whether it be a law enforcement center, or whatever. If it's government funded, it falls under public records.
Right. We just have to abide by the restrictions that are placed therein. And our records people, really quickly, they do a really good job. They're spread out throughout the county. We have one in each district, and working hard to make sure that they keep everything up to date. And even we have a victims' rights person, and there were a bunch of victims' rights letters just that we have to do for our victims and also other agencies that book into our jail. So we have to make sure we keep that.
776 victim rights letters went out of our office, too, out of your division.
That's right.
Again, it just shows you the work going to take care of our community, especially when they've been a victim of a crime.
That's right. So that's one of the huge things, and I appreciate all of the interest in that and making sure that everybody understands that we all work hard together, and we want to keep it that way.
Well, we think of our officers in the jail, we think of our deputies on the road, and which is vital to our mission. But the support team that makes that happen when it comes administratively, getting things done for the public, all the work down the front line, there's a back scene that's doing a lot of work, and I give them a shout out for what they do every day for us.
Okay, and now we're back to
the trespass. Yes, and that's something I'm challenged on quite a bit, is especially with the illegal immigration coming into this country on private lands. Now, people say, why don't you charge them all? There's a lot. That's an easy statement to make, a truly easy statement to make. But let's get back to reality. I can't enforce immigration. And many people argue with it and say, you're the sheriff, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, easier said than done, too. Second of all is this, that trespass laws were designed and authored and passed for urban Arizona, for the Phoenixes, the Tempes, the Tucsons. It was not passed for rural Arizona. Talk to a rancher and ask the question, hey, the trespass laws, and we've had many discussions. Brian McIntyre and I have had many discussions. We've fulfilled the law as it's written. That's what we do. That's our oath says we'll do that. But think about something. John Ladd, I think he owns 16,000 acres down there south of 92. Which means every 75 feet he has to put a no trespass sign, both in English and Spanish, saying don't trespass on this property. And it's only a Class 3 misdemeanor if they do. That's the lowest of misdemeanors, lowest of crimes in the state of Arizona. So he's getting hundreds, thousands every month coming through his property. So you start putting those in a facility that I don't have. I mean, you see where this gets very complicated. Now, let me just disclaim this too. And Gail Griffin, when she's a senator, and now a representative for the state of Arizona, her and I work very closely on changing the trespass laws. But when your base of legislators come out of the Maricopa urban areas, that's a tough challenge in itself. We know that. But that doesn't mean if we have somebody that goes onto your property, you've told them to leave and they refuse to leave, that automatically becomes a trespass issue. They refuse to leave, they knowingly remained on real property, and then there's a problem. We will arrest you. There's no doubt about it. Second to that is the fact that we have to do a better job of rural policing when it comes to our trespass laws and getting that law changed, and that's going to take a united front to do that. It truly is when it comes to that. If we've had this too, where we've had people where they'll walk up to a residence, start looking in windows, I don't need a sign for that. That shows a aggravated intent to do something besides walk across your property. So we've actually charged on that one, and we will. So each case has its own merit, but in the big scheme of picture, I work very close with the county attorney's office. Brian's very proactive on enforcing the laws and helping us when it comes to us enforcing, him prosecuting. We have a good team effort here, but we have to abide by what the law says we can and can't do. And trespass is not just a general blanket, take him to jail, he's on my property. I wish it was that simple. It's not. But there's due process on both sides. And so we're going to be working on, the session goes again. Gail and I and Dave Gowan and Becky Nell will push it again, see if we can change that law and define those words to give people more rights on their private property.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Grady, thank you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for everybody. And everybody have a safe week. See you next Friday.
And who do we have coming in next, Carol?
We have Miss Karen Enriquez. She is one of the head people over at SEGO.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and if you're driving to work, please stay safe out there. Karen, welcome. We appreciate having you. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what is your position, because we just talked about that for a second, and it's a good one.
Good morning. My name is Karen Enriquez, and I am the Family Caregiver Support Care Coordinator for SEGO Area Agency on Aging. SEGO Area Agency on Aging, you might not recognize that name, so let me explain. The Southeastern Government Organization is a regional planning agency. They're better known as COGS, and Arizona is divided up into regions. The COG is a public organization that serves the local government and the citizens in their designated regions. SEGO, Southeastern Arizona Government Organization, region encompasses Cochise, Graham, Greenlee, and Santa Cruz counties. The Area Agency on Aging is a program in their aging and social services. There are 622 area agencies on aging nationwide. Arizona is split into 8 regions, and our region 6 again encompasses Cochise, Graham, Greenlee, and Santa Cruz. The Area Agency on Aging advocates for elderly individuals 60 and older and individuals who are disabled and family caregivers. The Family Caregiver Program is very important to the Area Agency on Aging. Through the National Family Caregiver Support Program, the Older Americans Act, Title III-E, the Family Caregiver Support Program identifies caregivers and provides them with the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence needed to sustain their everyday circumstances. Our mission is to provide services that empower individual choice, independence, and dignity for our aging and disabled population. And again, we serve older adults, 60 and up, people with disabilities and long-term needs, residents of nursing homes and assisted living facilities, Medicare beneficiaries, and their family caregivers. A family caregiver is defined as an adult family member or another individual who is an informal provider of in-home care and community care to older individuals or anyone with Alzheimer's disease or related neurological disorder. We offer 5 direct services to caregivers, which is information about available services, assistance in gaining access to supportive services, individual counseling, organization of support groups, and trainings to assist caregivers in making decisions and solving problems related to their individual roles. Respite care to enable caregivers to be temporarily relieved from their caregiving responsibilities, and some supplemental services on a limited basis. I'm very excited to be here today to promote 2 of our programs which we launched in March of this year. We now have a virtual caregiving platform. It is designed to provide skill-based training and resources for family caregivers. It's built specifically for family caregivers, and it helps them to reduce stress, find local resources, and provide better care. Every caregiver has their own journey, and so you can choose the subjects that interest you and learn any time of the day. The Trualta content is dementia-focused, and topics include personal care and safety, injury prevention, and caregiver wellness. Trualta also offers expert-level dementia training from professional-level providers like TIPA Snow, which have been adopted for the family caregiver. If you'd like more information, the licenses that we were able to purchase through CARES Act funding are available through our Area Agency on Aging. It is a pilot program in Arizona. The state has approved our using this, and for more information, you can contact me, Karen Enriquez, at Seago Area Agency on Aging at 520-432-2528.
So you're basically, your group covers all of these counties, and people may not know, and this is what we had talked about before, a lot of the services, and you're focusing right now on family caregivers, a lot of the services that people don't know are out there or may not know that are out there surround how you can be a better caregiver if that's where you're at. If it's a family, friend, neighbor, loved one that you're responsible for taking care of, these types of programs help you get really good at that. Plus, if you need to, there's a part of that program that if you need to just take a beat, you need to go to the store, you need to just get away for a moment, there's some respite care. So you also have that as part of the program.
Yes. Yes, we do have case management that assists the caregivers. They provide the respite services through subcontracted providers in our area. And we also have long-term care ombudsmen in our program with the Area Agency on Aging. We have SHIP and SMP, which is our state medical patrol, and they cover Medicare, especially open enrollment. So the Area Agency on Aging has many programs that focus on assisting 60 and older.
So when I first became aware of your program several years ago, it was specifically for that, navigating through these systems for anybody who doesn't have some help is challenging at best. It's just so difficult. And that's where I first noted your organization was through open enrollment through Medicare and Medicaid and whatever else you need to do every year. So you actually had people, and I'm sure you still do, that go through step-by-step processes to help you sign up for insurance. If you already have insurance, making sure it's the best insurance for you, making sure that you're not in this alone. And, you know, knowing that there's some place to turn should be really, really exciting and gratifying for people who just maybe at their wits' end. So thank you for doing what you do. It's difficult, and making sure that people understand and getting the word out there, I think, is so very important.
It really is, and we do love what we do. We're a team of 7 extremely dedicated women, and we have several programs that are in development. We're always looking for ways to advocate for our elderly, and we also, due to COVID, consider ourselves the silver lining of COVID, because for the first time in many years, we are receiving funding that we have not seen in order to provide these services to our elderly society. And so we're really grateful for the funding that we've received. It has allowed us to pivot all of our programs to virtual. We have created caregiver hubs and senior connects with the public libraries in all 4 of our counties, so that if a caregiver or a family does not have computer access, literacy, or devices, or internet services, they can go to their local libraries and ask for assistance. So we're always looking for innovative ways to get the word out. Probably the biggest barrier with the family caregiver program is caregivers don't necessarily self-identify with the role. They are doing what they need to do to get through their day, to take care of their loved one, and to keep them home, in the home, rather than at a nursing facility. So my job is especially rewarding because I can assist them finding the resources to be able to do that.
And so you have another flyer that you have with you for
do.
Pinkies Up. So tell us what that is.
Okay. Also in March, we decided that peer support, caregiving support groups are extremely important for caregivers. And we decided that support groups sounds very serious, and we wanted to enable our caregivers to have some social interaction to address the social isolation, and we decided to do a Caregiver Mingle. So we created Pinkies Up. It is a Caregiver Mingle. It is not a dating website. We join every Tuesday at 2, and it's an informal, non-curricular group of caregivers that meets. We occasionally have a pop-up presenter that will highlight a specific topic. We have partnered with AARP, and they come in and they provide free programs and information for caregivers specifically. And so we invite everyone to join us. The registration is on our SEGO Area Agency on Aging Facebook page, or again, you can reach out to Karen Enriquez. My number again is 520-432-2528, and join us. We are on Zoom, so you can do it in the convenience of your home every Tuesday afternoon at 2 for conversation, company, compassion, and of course we have our tea. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to come and share that information. And again, I think SEGO is just one of those secrets that we don't want to keep. We want to make sure we get the information out there. So we appreciate that you came today and just starting to open that door. And we hope to have you back whenever you have additional programs that we can talk about.
Absolutely, Karen. Carol, I appreciate the invitation, and I thank you.
Well, thank you.
And can you give us your phone number one more time?
It's 520-432-2528. 2528.
And Carol, how do they find us at the Sheriff's Office?
So look us up. Cochise County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Mark J. Daniels is our Facebook page. That'll connect you to our Twitter, CC_Sheriff. We also have Instagram. We're working to make more robust. And our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. So come take a look.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.
Careful.